A lot of tools, they do generate SBOMs, but they end up gathering dust. How does Cloudsmith treat an SBOM as like an active living document rather than a static receipt?
Yeah, that's you hit the nail on the head. I think everyone here has regarding SBOMs, and honestly, it's a lot. It's something that a lot of organizations struggle with right now. It's relatively easy to generate an SBOM, right? You've seen it done locally, you've seen it done in pipeline, whatever, if you're testing or you're doing actually generating them in pipeline and just pushing them to an S3 bucket and, like Claire mentioned, having them collect dust. The real challenge, I think for organizations is making it useful, right? After a build is completed, right? I think Cloudsmith does a little bit differently. We attach the SBOM directly to the artifact, and actually for Docker images, we'll actually create one for you. So you kind of get to not forget, but you get to kind of optimize in a way, and kind of let us kind of handle the SBOM generation, at least for Docker images. But for other artifacts like Maven packages or NPM packages, we treat SBOMs as like a first-class citizen when it comes to the artifact, right? So it travels with the package throughout the package's lifecycle rather than being stored in a separate area. And because it's tied to the artifact, the SBOM can actively be included into policies that you include within Cloudsmith, vulnerability monitoring, as Ralph alluded to, dependency analysis. For example, if a new vulnerability is disclosed at a later time, we can actually correlate these, CVE data against the SBOM data dependencies listed within there to identify like what's affected. So instead of it kind of remaining as like almost like a static receipt from the build process, it becomes like a continuous, like useful source of truth, that supports security and operational decisions long after the artifact is, initially created, and even on the deployment side, can be, kind of built into policy for deployments, right? Again, alluding everything back to that golden path. So yeah, super important SBOMs, and it's great to see the industry kind of enforcing that.